Long ago, when the pyramids were still young, we're doing Ogdoadic. So, Manny the Dragon Tamer Team Forbidden and the King of all Tsuchinokos here, back with another update for Ogdoadic. This was a long time coming. I would like to thank Scott for giving me the support a little while back, but as you probably, or it depends on which video the collector puts up first, either this one or the Dragon Maid one that I did prior to this one. You probably have heard this will be my rant of I'm not really liking the format that Yu-Gi-Oh's in at the moment, because everyone's got to have a certain pyro amount of cards to work, or a certain Link 2 that's $100. Little but for now, I finally got this built under the duress of the collector begging me to put up a video. So here we are with. First off, we're starting off with 3 Nunu. And he is one of your main play starters of the deck. Of you discard / send him to grave to dump the opposite. A lot of the Ogdoadic cards have the effect of, if you send them to grave, you can dump an opposite attributed Ogdoadic from your deck to grave. So you dump him, you dump a dark, and then while you have only reptiles or Ogdoadics, or you have nothing on your field, he can summon himself for free from the graveyard, but he is banished if he leaves the field afterwards. So try and work around the Xyz ruling, for all of you who know, to keep him in grave. 3 Naya. He is essentially the Chamber Dragon Maid of the Ogdoadics. He will search your spells, he will search your traps, especially the main 2 of Water Lily and Daybreak, because Water Lily being a Monster Reborn and Foolish Burial, and Daybreak just being let me give you 4 or 5 free tokens for your field to link summon is insane. So even seeing this guy even more so has become a necessity. Three Reptilian Lamia, because she is a free summoning by zeroing out a monster on your opponent's field. And because of her alone, she makes Reptilian Hydra, the little 6 synchro, always active to draw you cards, because if you use her as synchro material, you can make 2 monsters on your opponent's field become 0 attack, which then gets popped by the Hydra, because it pops all 0 attack monsters, giving you always a plus free 2 when you use her as material. Reptilian Coatl, she has essentially become the replacement to Kagito Kage, because while you control another dark reptile on your field, she summons herself out, and you can treat her as a tuner or non-tuner for a reptile synchro monster. So the fact that she can turn herself on or off to be a tuner or non-tuner for a reptilian synchro is insane. And on top of that, her being a level 4 just makes her another target for King of the Feral and Potter as an Xyz material. Tsuchinoko, because you can never get enough Tsuchinoko. You gotta love the Tsuchinoko. Night Sword Serpent, because we love dumping the reptiles into grave. He gets dumped into grave, he summons himself out. But kind of like Naya, if he summons himself out in that way, he gets banished. So play around the Xyz rulings, if you guys know it, to keep him in grave. Flogos and Zoha. They're in here because they tend to proc the effects of the newer Ogdoadic monsters, where if a reptile gets sent to grave, the effects of the others proc while they're in grave. Because mostly for the effect of them making you send a card from your hand to grave to add themselves, gives you basically always a normal summon that you can fall back on if you need it. That, and like I said right now, they make you forcefully send reptiles from your hand to your graveyard, which procs the effects of all the other Ogdoadics in graveyard. So these guys essentially turn on your effects. Kors, because she is the World Legacy Guard Dragon of the Ogdoadic deck. she is mostly going to be the one that's continually bringing this guy back from the dead over and over and over again, so that way you're always plussing and grabbing the spells and traps that you need. Aliert. In the case of these guys do go to the graveyard, if he is summoned by his own effect from the grave, he can target 2 banished reptiles and you can send them back to graveyard. So he is your backup plan in the case that you do end up losing anything to the banish pile. 1 Reptilian Vashki, because lava goling them, your opponent's most annoying monsters because they're at 0 attack. You can never go wrong with it. There's basically only a handful of things in Yu-Gi-Oh! That can stop a kaiju or a golem summoning, but at your own expense because you already lost your monsters because they got tributed. Aron and Amunisia, the king and queen of the Ogdoadics. So alongside, like I was saying right now with this guy and this guy, if you got stuff going from your opponent's hand to grave, or anything from field is getting sent to grave, it is proccing their effects to him rip a card out of your opponent's hand and for her to send another card from your opponent's field to the graveyard. So as you're doing your plays, you're forcing your opponent to be sending stuff to their own grave, which will then proc them to even minus your opponent even more. Like I said right now, ripping a card out of your opponent's hand and sending another card on the field to the grave. Then, of course, the new Overlords. He is Zeus Light. He is your beater, 3100 attack. And this thing is insane. Just for the fact that if anything gets sent to grave, she brings herself back and she can Monster Reborn anything in the grave. It's not Ogdoadic or reptiles. This thing literally says special summon 1 monster in your graveyard. This thing can special summon anything. So if you're splashing like a small Ogdoadic or reptile engine and have her in it, she is insane. But you do got to be careful because she does lock you into reptiles if you use this effect. So if you have effects going off on your turn or your opponent's turn that's just sending reptiles from your hand or deck to the grave, you are summoning her out each turn, which is bringing him out, or the king and queen out each turn. You are putting your opponent on watch to make sure that's like, if they don't do the wrong play, this is coming out, this is coming out, these are coming out, and something's getting ripped apart. Whether it be your hand or your field. And then Evil Dragon Anata, because since we're dumping nothing but reptiles into grave, this thing gets big after banishing everything. The main play starter of the deck, Snake Rain. Finally, we have the deck that makes this work. I know I made this joke back when this set first came out, but we will say it again. Finally, a deck that makes this card work. Ogdoadic Water Lily, because like I said before, a Foolish Prairial plus a Monster Reborn is insane. You are plussing. On top of that, this just procs the Overlord S. Where is she? Where is she? Where is... Here. Basically, at this point onward, any spell I play will proc her, bring something out. So you're basically using this, Monster Reborning 1 monster. She comes out because something got sent. She Monster Reborn something else. Just for the fact that we got her alone, just floods the field with big reptiles. That is insane. Another main starter of your deck now, Daybreak. This thing is insane. So you tribute 1 reptile on your field, and for every 2 levels that monster had, you get 1 Ogdoadic token. So you tribute one of your level 10s, you get 5 tokens. You tribute one of your level 8s, you get 4. You tribute your 4, you get 2, etc., etc. And there's no restriction to what you can do with these things. So you can link summon up the ass with this. You can link summon, you can use them as the tribute fodder for all your big guys, because he needs 3 tributes to come back. The king and queen need 2. And they just fit so well with the link monsters. Because the link monsters you use, they only use reptiles. And the fact that these are just like free, generic reptile tokens, just means you can go crazy with link summoning. And then on the same turn that this thing goes to grave, This can also shuffle back one of your banished reptiles and lets you dump a reptile from deck to grave again, proccing her again. Reptilian Ramification. You send one card from your hand to the graveyard to add a reptilian monster, add a reptilian spell, or make a monster's attack 0. You send a reptile to the grave with this, you bring her out. All the spells will bring her out. The one reptilian recoil, because I just have it in here to really just be the spell target for this, or just discard fodder for a lot of the low level monsters that lets you send a card from deck to hand, from your hand to grave to add or special summon themselves back. I see a lot of people taking this card out, but if you want to be dumping stuff on your opponent's turn while they're doing their thing, this will send an Ogdoadic from your deck to grave, which will proc her effect and summon something else out. It cannot be said enough. Keep as much of your Ogdoadic stuff in the deck as possible, because then it procs her. It brings out your big other Ogdoadic monsters, and then they'll just start ripping apart your opponent if they try to do anything else afterwards. Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn. Reasoning, because we like to either dump half our deck into the grave or get a free summon of one of our big monsters. Foolish Burial, because you can never have enough Foolish Burials. Call by the Grave, because we don't like hand traps. Feather Duster, because we don't like back row. Offering to the Snake Deity, because reptile version of Icarus attack. And then Ogdoadic Calling, just as another search target for Naya. And because now that we have the extra names for the Ogdoadics for grave, this can summon back Ogdoadic monsters from your graveyard, or just give you 2 free tokens, just like Daybreak does. People sit on this card. Just having at least one of these can save you or start your turn over again. Now onto the X deck. 3 Reptilian Echidna, because making a monster's attack 0 and getting a free search out of it is insane. 3 Alien Shock Trooper, because giving everything A counters and summoning everything from your graveyard back when he dies is insane. So you can either just crash him, or, this is from what I have been seeing from other profiles, you use the Link 3 Alien Monster to grab Pollutant Virus, give everything on the field A counters, and your opponent can't do anything because anything with an A counter is instantly put to defense and can't use its effect. So if you want to be that guy and not let your opponent play at all, you can do that. But this is more of my own version of having Ogdoadic or Reptilian, and he is just a mass summoning from the graveyard for the deck that likes to be in grave. 2 King of the Feral Imps, because he happens to be reptile, and search any reptile in your deck. And then, like I said before, if you know your Xyz rulings, you can keep your stuff that gets summoned and will get locked out by being banished, away from that ruling if you keep them under an Xyz monster. 2 Hydra, because popping any monsters with 0 attack will give you free draw. 2 Melusine, because this thing is insane. Once per chain, just make one of your opponent's monsters 0 attack. If your opponent likes to pop off on combos, your opponent's going to always be sitting on 0 attack monsters. What's your opponent going to do with this big board of monsters if they're all 0 attack? And it's not like they can destroy her either. If you use nothing but reptiles as her materials, she cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effects. So you can even, offering to the Snake Deity her, she will not get popped because she's protected. So you're popping your opponent's monsters with offering while she's on field, zeroing out monsters. She is insane and crazy. And then Nightmare Package, because it's generic. It's one of the best things out there when you just want to link climb. And hey, that's Ogdoadic. I hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Peace.